One-on-one with interesting personalities, educational and informative topics and issues, intriguing and entertaining. A must listen to. The Spotlight, Monday nights from 8 p.m. on Q95.
You are alive. I love it already. Oh my goodness. Yes. I love it already. Oh my God. Lovely on screen.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone tuned in and locked into the program. Good evening. This is the In the Spotlight radio show. And it's a pleasure to welcome you to the program tonight. Hope everyone had a wonderful Valentine's Day so far. And those of you who have decided to make us your Valentine's Day activity for tonight, we thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. You can find us on Q95 FM 95.1. We're streaming live via the In the Spotlight radio show page. Thank you for choosing us. Follow us while you're there. We are also live via the Wise Q95 Facebook page as well, so you can choose that option if you wish. Or you can choose any of the online streaming options. Whatever your choice is, we're just happy that you are with us tonight. Using the opportunity to remind you to follow our In the Spotlight radio show page, become a fan of our group, subscribe to our YouTube channel on Fidina F. Frampton. If you would like to make a contribution to the show, those of you outside of Dominica, you can use Cash App, the $ and Spotlighters, SPOTLIGHTERS. And I just say, you can always just inbox me on 767-275-7565 for any additional information as to how you can support the show. Let us acknowledge as well tonight the Q95 FM radio for allowing us to be here on a Monday night. We appreciate it. Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, they provide us with our Twapita water. Thank you, Josephine Gabriel and Company. GK, Jordan Jerome, the guy behind What's This, and so much more. Thank you for your support. Akim Lois, the guy who does my flyer, and I'm always so grateful to him for his support. Dominica News Online, who runs our flyer on their page. And the fans, the viewers, the listeners of the program, please share our live so other people can as well view. And those of you who are on the radio, who listen via the radio is the preferred option for the program. But those of you who choose to come and join us online, we absolutely do appreciate you and all of your support. So welcome again. Tonight is Valentine's night in Dominica, and I thought about it and I said, boy, for this program, I would like to bring on a couple on the program that could just share their life experience with us. talk about love, talk about life, talk about family, you know, give advice. And you'd be surprised by some of the things the couple here tonight, you would think, you know, they're not saying they're perfect. They're not saying that they're perfect, but they try their best always to do what's right. And even on a typical night like Valentine's, you would be surprised at the fact that there are some things that they just don't do because maybe there are more important things. So much to learn from this couple here tonight. And we thank everyone for tuning in and joining us on the program. I'm going to open up my mics, their mics, and I hope I have the correct mics open for them. And let me say, a wonderful, loving evening, because it's Valentine's, to Hilarian and Deirdre. I have to get Deirdre. Oh my goodness. She has a unique name like mine. For joining us, Jules, that is Mr. and Mrs. Jules, for joining us on the In the Spotlight radio show tonight. And we're just going to relax and have a wonderful program. I'm going to allow you to say good evening to the listeners, to the fans, and to your friends and family who are all tuned in tonight.
Thank you very much for that. And before we begin, I'll begin with a prayer.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. So no worries, dear Mr. Jules. Go right ahead.
Amen. Pray for husband and wife.
Nice.
Keep us, Lord, from pettiness. Let us be thoughtful in word and deed. Help us to put away pretense and love each other in deep trust without fear or self-pity. Help us to guard against fault finding and be quick to discover the best in each other and in every situation. Guard us from ill temper and hasty judgments. Encourage us to take time for all things, to grow calm, serene, and gentle. Help us to be generous with kind words and compliments. Teach us never to ignore, never to hurt, never to take each other for granted. Engrave charity and compassion on our hearts. We make our prayer through Christ, our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. I hope that, and I like that you chose a prayer for wife and husband.
Yes.
I thought that was very, very thoughtful of you.
Thank you.
All right. So before that, you said you wanted to pray. So I'm going to allow you now to say hello to the listeners, the viewers, and everyone who's tuned in.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Deirdre, Jules. And just want to say thanks to Vadina for inviting us here this evening. We plan to have fun.
Yes.
To laugh a lot, to share our lives, and just to be with each other.
Well, what can I say? It's really a pleasure being here. And we just love sharing our lives. Anybody who knows us know that we, yes, always share our lives. In fact, we often say our lives is an open book. You know, what you see is what you get. And there we are. We're at your disposal tonight. And we do hope that hearts will be blessed and relationships will benefit from what it is that we have to share about our lives tonight.
All right, wonderful. So I was busy there in the phone just making sure that I shared the link so that everybody can get to tune into the program and to join us. So, Deirdre?
Hi.
All right. You know what I did?
No.
You may not like the word that I used, right? But I wrote Deadrie. So I can get to pronounce your name properly.
No problem.
So Deirdre and Hilarian. So we're going to have a little fun first before we actually begin the program, and I call it an icebreaker. You know, I know you all don't need an icebreaker. I think it's fine, but we're going to have a little icebreaker. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and then you will point on which one actually is the one responsible for the comments that I'm going to make.
Sure.
All right? Or the question that I'm going to ask.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Who goes to bed earlier? Who rises first? She does.
Yes.
All right. Who makes the coffee? You make the coffee.
Oh, yes.
So wait, so when you wake, you have to wait for him to wake up to make the coffee?
We normally go to the kitchen together.
You go to the kitchen together.
When she wakes, she's in extended period of prayer.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm an early riser.
You're an early riser. All right. Who is the better cook?
Me.
I'll give it to her.
Deirdre says me no.
I'll give it to her.
So I have not tasted Mr. Jules' cooking, but I taste your cooking. So and it was really good. Thank you for that. I thought it was really thoughtful, that I came to visit you all, just to have a little chat, do a little promo. And I came during my lunch hour and you had lunch ready for me. So I thought that was very kind and thoughtful, and I appreciated it.
That's us. But listen, don't lose your train of thought. I don't know if you have it there. You ask who is the better cook, and I agree that Deirdre is the better cook.
You agree that she.
But if you ask the question, who bakes the bread?
Who bakes the bread?
Yes.
He bakes the bread.
Oh, yes.
So you bake your own bread?
Yes, we do.
Yes. Our week's worth of bread every weekend.
Are you kidding?
No, not at all. Yeah.
What kind of bread do you make?
White and wheat.
White and wheat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Who has the softer heart? He does.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Who makes up first after an argument? He does. Oh my goodness. Who has the stronger personality? She does. Who gets dressed faster when getting ready to go out? He does.
Yes.
Okay. Who is the disciplinarian among the parents, among the two?
I think it's me.
You think it's you?
Yes.
He has a softer heart to the children.
He spoils them.
He spoils
Up
them.
to now.
Deirdre, he couldn't say a thing. You realize that? He just went quiet. Couldn't say a thing. Okay. What would you do if you both won the lottery?
Whoosh.
That's a good one.
What would we do?
Yes, if you won the lottery. Because if one person wins it, it's you both.
The fact is, honestly, we do not play the lottery.
You do not play the lottery.
We don't play.
No.
Okay. All right, so that's fine. And the last one is, who said I love you first? If you remember that at all. Over 30-something years ago. It was him.
And he says it every day, every minute, every second, every opportunity he gets, he says it.
I love that. That's important. Why is it so important to you, Mr. Jules, to always tell your wife that you love her, even after 32 years?
Yes, it's my wife, but it's really just more something about my personality. I'm just a people's person. And to me, everything about me exudes love.
Mm-hmm. So you're the more emotional one then? Somewhat?
Yes, I would say so. Yes.
Lovely. All right. So that ends our icebreakers. And then before we begin chatting and starting our conversation here tonight, it's Valentine's Day.
Yes, it is.
And you are here with me today, and I appreciate it. Probably
Yes.
you could have been somewhere else,
Exactly.
right? So before we start talking, I want to let you know that I reached out. I have quite a few friends that whenever I call them, it's no big deal. So I have a few gifts for you on Valentine's Day, right? So my first gift to you is a couples massage from Jungle Bay Resort and Spa.
Oh my.
Right? So I want you to go to Jungle Bay Resort and Spa and have a wonderful time. There you go, Deirdre.
Thank you.
And I just want to say a little something on their behalf. So Jungle Bay Resort is a nature-inspired luxury escape. Nestled in a lush cliffside locale teeming with the sights and sounds of nature, rests Jungle Bay Resort and Spa, an award-winning eco-luxe escape, drawing nature lovers, adventurous yogis, and passionate travelers alike into Dominica's balmy embrace. This is where the mind, body, and spirit can truly rejuvenate amidst a world hidden from every worry. So I hope you experience that when you go to get your couples massage. And I want to say thanks to Judy and the other folks at Jungle Bay, Sam Raphael, your people. You know, it was just I just made a call, and yes, no problem.
And we thank them. We thank them
Yes.
very, very much. We thank them. Much appreciated.
You're most welcome. Then I have dinner for two for you at the Great Old House, and there it is the best place to dine. And again, it was just a phone call to Steve, my good friend, who gave me a $250 dinner voucher, dinner for two,
Thank
that
you.
I hope you get to enjoy
Thank
at
you.
some point
Thank
in
you very
time.
much. Thank you very much, Steve.
Yes.
Great Old House. Thank
What's-
you very much.
What's next? Okay, so this is a gift from Lovely Things. Leandra Lander, you will love this. Yes. So I really appreciate it. Again, it was just a WhatsApp message. Lee, I'm doing this on Valentine's night. You know, what can you do for me?
Can the viewer see it, man?
Yes, you can. Yes, you put it. The camera faces you.
Oh, yes.
Yes, so this is from Lovely Things, and she says, Lovely Things congratulates you on being a model of love,
Thank you.
dedication, and family, and she wishes you happy Valentine's Day.
Thank
So
you,
there's
Deirdre.
2 mugs in there, and they have continuing messages matching. Anyway, they're beautiful.
Wow.
If you wish to show the public at some point, that is up to you.
Yes.
Then this beautiful basket, which Deirdre you can show to the public via the camera. This is from the Red Lily Flower Shop. Again, just a WhatsApp message. You know, this is what I'm doing. You know, what can you give to me? And the Red Lily Flower Shop, they do fruit baskets. They say they create smiles, and I saw the smiles on your face.
Yes.
And they offer fresh bouquets, fruit baskets, and more. And they're located on Cock Street. And this is your bag for the gift from Lovely Things. And then this also, by the way, came with Lovely Things as well. This bottle of wine,
Oh, wow.
J. Pichenet. Yes. And this one is from Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited. They are one of my sponsors for the show. So there you go. Thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much.
I'm not done yet.
Oh, my. It's Valentine's.
It is. So
We can feel the love.
yes, I wanted to show you some love tonight because I warmed up to you guys so easily when I met you, you know, at your home. I said I had to do something special for, I don't do it for every show, but it's a special show. So this one, these are 2 t-shirts from Deepex. They say they print on anything.
Wow.
So let me show you first. So Deirdre, you hold this one and show the viewers, say what it says.
Oh yes.
I have everything I need. And then Deirdre, you open up this one.
I am everything.
Wow, nice. Nice.
So
Very nice.
when you decide,
Oh, my. Oh, my.
when you decide to wear your shirts together,
Yes.
I have everything I need.
And
Yes.
I am everything.
Yes, of
Listen,
course, of
sure.
course.
Really.
And the final gift is a token from We Forward. This is a $50 voucher to use We Forward. You can send something to your children overseas or when they send something to you. So this is for you, and it's valid through 21 months. It looks like, or thereabout. So there you go. So so I hope that I did put a smile on your faces tonight.
Well,
you know, I really, listen, as busy as it was for me, I decided I have to do it. And I started working on this on Saturday afternoon.
Wow, we thank
I
you.
made my calls, you know, and everybody came through. And I'll tell you, and I always say that if I call more people, there's more stuff to come.
Right.
People hardly ever say no. They're always so willing, you know, to contribute to the show. And I really want to thank all of them, you know, for all their printing needs. You go to Deepex and We Forward, they ship everywhere. So I'm just going to give you an opportunity, you know, to say something in terms of your gifts.
Very, very, very much appreciated. We can feel the love coming through everything. And yes, it is you and your friends and everybody, who care about you, who love you, and I can see that we too are experiencing that love. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to all of you. Greatly appreciated. But in the spirit of giving, we do have some a token of love and warmth for Fedina. Yes, so it's Valentine's. So we do have a token of warmth and love for Fedina.
Oh my goodness, thank you. And I bet you came here probably not thinking she's going to be doing all of that, right?
No.
And you didn't come in anticipation of that either.
Not at all.
But this is my way of saying thank you to you for being here tonight, for agreeing to do this. I really do appreciate it, for agreeing to come and share your life story with us, your family and all of that. It's really, really, really something special for me. All right, so we're going to start, but before we start, I'm going to shock you all again. I know, I do that. I'm known for doing that.
One of the many things that my parents taught me is to cling to God in all situations and remain steadfast in prayer. I remember when I was younger, on the drive to school and work in the morning, we would pray in the car every single morning. Even if we stopped along the way to give someone a lift, we would continue praying. That would not stop us. And I know that even now, whenever my parents take their morning walk, or if they are driving to work, they begin praying as soon as they leave the house. And this has stuck with me. My parents are also extremely supportive of me and my brothers. They have always taken interest in whatever it is we are doing. And if we are having difficulties, they would talk us through it and help us to figure out a solution. I love that I can talk to them about anything and even be emotional with them. I really enjoy being around them, and they would probably say that I'm the child who calls them the most. But I just enjoy feeling like I am in their presence, even when we don't have much to talk about. My parents have accomplished a lot in life. And I know they feel like there's a lot more that they can do, not only for themselves, but for others as well. And that's just part of their ambitious and selfless nature. I know that they always say, we, their children, make them proud, but I can truly say that I am proud of them. And I love and appreciate them for the many ways in which they have been a good example for me and my brothers, as well as the countless people they have touched by their lives.
Thank you, Brent.
I think growing up, it's very easy to take for granted everything your parents do for you. But with mommy and daddy, they made their presence and impact known in a way that was really, really easy to tell from an early age. I mean, as a very young child, teaching and showing respect and love and good grammar, enabling my curiosity to learn and ask questions, or even just talk while they listen actively. Then, as a teenager, the way they've provided guidance and support, but at an appropriate level, not being overbearing or laissez-faire with their approach. I think in that way, I felt I had enough freedom to make my own decisions and choices. And even when I made mistakes, I had the opportunity to learn and to grow from them. I remember even with decisions like where I wanted to go to school or what I wanted to study throughout high school or college or university, I could have those discussions, incorporate their opinion, but make the decision I felt was best for myself without being overburdened by any specific expectation. And right now, in married life, I see them as an exemplary example of love. Constant supporting of each other, doing things together, at the same time allowing each other to be their own person in the marriage. Overall, I feel incredibly blessed to have them as parents. And I know if it wasn't for everything they did, Gracia and April and I, we would not have been able to make the strides that we all have in life.
Because one thing that's for certain is that I really appreciate my parents more and more as I continue to grow up. I'll say that's because I'm only 3 siblings. I was definitely the most malcasted one. I was all sorts of mischief and disobeying whatever it is, So I was just always wondering as a child, why they just want my kiss so much compared to my other siblings, And now that I'm a little older and a little wiser, I just kind of have more of an understanding of, why they were always doing certain things in certain ways towards me, and I really just have gained an extra appreciation and more love for my parents, with all the reasons about the love and care that they showed us, They never made us question how much they loved us in any way, they always just show us love in all sorts of different forms. And also just the way that they raised us too. We were raised under the foundations of God, love, and family, and that's just something that will continue to stick with me as I go through my life experiences, So always remembering to pray, just, be with God at every moment, that's one thing that they will just always make sure that we do, and we continue to see. They continue to show us how God has been blessing us as we grow up, and I really appreciate them for just how much care, attention, love, that they gave us as we were growing up.
From the lips of the ones you produced and brought to this world. They're all in different locations, but yet still, their messages are so similar in nature. And I think it may be the youngest one. The youngest one is Sydney.
No,
Gracian is the last one.
Yeah.
Sydney is the eldest.
Yes.
And he's the one who coordinated this for me.
All right.
And I really want to say thank you to him for getting this done. And I just want to touch Simi and Josie for assisting me as well in getting through to some of the people that I got through to tonight. But back to just hearing your children. Before we start talking about you, we're going to do that in a while. But I thought it was important to share these voice notes from your children so you can get a sense of what they say about you when you're not there. And I'm sure it's the same that they say when you're present.
Definitely.
What was it like to hear your children speak about you?
Very heartening, I felt very good. And it just makes me feel that rewarded for all the hard work that we put into bringing them up. We always felt that we have to be there for them. We remain steadfast. And we told ourselves we have to be there for them through all their growing up years. And that is what we did. We supported them in all the activities, everything they did, and so on. And I guess that is what we created the environment for them that could bring them to where they are right now. So honestly, it's not a surprise, because even as we are all away from each other, we still maintain a very close relationship with them.
My wife, Deirdre, is really the backbone of the family. But in something that we will speak about most likely later, we speak of personality styles. And in whatever this exercise that we conduct, there is this personality style of the thinker. So yes, Deirdre is the backbone, but I am one who very often goes deep in thought. And so when I listen to Sydney in particular, and some of the things that he says, in terms of letting them be their own person and all of that, I know sharing with my wife, those come from me. I share that it's my own thinking, my own personality, and I know my wife agrees with me that our firstborn was a boy, but we chose nothing of Junior. He has no name of mine, no name of his mother, because we just felt that we would want our children to be independent. we love them, we mold them, but we know that they will go on. And Sydney is now married, and I know his dear wife Marissa is really enjoying him. And well, we'll just wait for the rest for the others. But our daughter April is the heartbeat.
Oh yes.
She's really the heartbeat. She recently we referred to her as everybody's secretary. April does everything for all of us.
Secretary.
Yes. And Gracian,
Gracian is fun-loving one.
Yes.
Yes.
Outgoing, he makes friends
Wondering why
easily.
you're troubling him like that, you know?
Yes.
Makes friends very easily and so on, you know, but he was always different from them, and that is what we recognized. And we did what we had to do to take him to the point, the level that he is right now, and I know he appreciated that.
Proud of all of your children?
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
we are, definitely.
We are thankful to God.
And they're all out of the nest.
Out of the nest.
Yes, we are empty nesters.
Yes.
We did our best, and you know what? We deserve our freedom right now.
Yes.
Is that what you call it, Deirdre?
Yes,
You have your freedom right now.
Yes, but you don't know what it is like. I mean, if we have to go back, you know.
Yes.
I mean, when the children were growing up, youngsters in school and whatnot, I used to get up every morning 4:30 to cook, so that they could be in school early. Because remember, we have to cook our meals.
Go ahead.
So I would get up like 4:30 in the mornings to cook. And I mean, I did that constantly for years. Imagine you have 3 children.
Yes.
Right? I mean, 3 is like a small number, but it's a full house when it's 5 of us. And I did that constantly for years, but did it well, did it gratefully, did it with a good heart. And in between, taught them to do what they had to do. So you see, by the time they left, we left, and by the time they left, we felt fulfilled, that we did our best. So
there we are today.
Here we are.
Yes. And you're enjoying each other's company.
Oh, yes.
It's the manner in which you said, oh, yes. Let us, it will come back to family at some point during the program, but let us get to know the two of you a little better, right? So let us begin by sharing a bit of your background with us, each person on their own. Yes.
Should I go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
So I'm from Newton. I'm from Newton. I still always maintain that I am from Newton. Anywhere I go, I am from Newton. And even sometimes you will tell me, Newton, you come out. Not in any old way, but but I maintain my roots. So growing up in Newton, I'm from a family of 7. I'm the 5th in my mother's children. And my mother has passed. My father has passed a long time, since I was like 13. And my bigger sister, Josephine, she is the matriarch of the family. She's out of state and she's the matriarch. And raising up in Newton, and in those days, for me, it was very good. Because I got involved in activities that made me who I am now. So some of it was to do with church groups. We had a youth group. Then I was in choir. I would teach Sunday school. So my whole life was surrounded around, around the church activity. I was a member of the prayer group. And one of the things we did, when we joined groups, we would actually do service clubs. We would have dinners and so on. And even teaching Sunday school, sometimes after Sunday school, we would walk down to Donkey Beach. To bathe, and this on a Sunday. And some of the things you remember well and whatnot, just walking along the road, talking, so really and truly, I had a good upbringing, and then friends that were very impactful. Up to now, we still maintain that kind of relationship. So that was good.
Tell me about your family dynamic at that time.
Well, my family dynamic at that time, I was the only one really who was going to church. So I maintained that I continued to go to church. So this is what really kept me, my church life.
How did you get introduced to the church?
we lived close to the church at Newtown. So it's like, remember, since you're a member of the prayer group, you're a member of the choir, so you know these things bring you, they always draw you back. You're a member of the youth group, they draw you back into the church community.
It's interesting that you're saying among your siblings, you were the only person
Yes.
who went to church and took church seriously. One might think, how is it that you didn't get pulled away by, maybe a sister or a brother, somebody saying, what you doing? You just go in church and pray and do all of that, Is it that anybody tried, or you were just strong enough in your faith that, no, even if they tried, they would not have succeeded?
I was and I am still strong in my faith, so it's not easy to pull me around.
It's not easy to pull you away from it like that. Yes. And what about mommy, daddy? Tell us a little bit more about them,
Well, remember
who they were. Yes.
My dad died at like 13 when I was 13, so I don't remember much of him. But our mother, she did her best to bring us up in the best way she could, until she died about 9 years ago. So.
What type of mother was she?
She loved her children. She loved, our home was small, but she loved everybody being around her. So we would go there, and everybody would be there and just talking and laughing. She liked to have all her grandchildren around her. And even when the children were growing up, small, very small, we would take them there on afternoons after school. And they themselves really enjoyed being in her company.
She's very soft-spoken.
Very soft-spoken.
Gentle lady. Very, very gentle, soft-spoken.
So you're from Newtown?
I am from Newtown.
And you're
still
proud.
from Newtown, yes.
What part of Newtown though?
Close to
The Fatima Church?
Close to the Fatima Church, really.
Middle.
Yes, you know where Joan Bell is, just around Joan Bell's area there.
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
around that. So it's very close to the church.
Close to the church.
So my life there was the church.
Mr. Jules, tell me about your background.
All right. Well, I grew up not a stone's throw away from Q95 Studios.
Oh.
Amita Ozo.
Who says Jean Ozo?
Jean Ozo. Mita Ozo. We have Bolo cells close to Flo there. Across the road, you've got CIS. And then there's this little house with a store or something. That was my spot, 52 Wall Street. Yes.
I would have never
Right
thought.
in the middle
I
of
thought you're
Rose.
a man that come out somewhere in the country.
Many people think so, People have asked me if I'm from Wesley, if I'm from La Plaine.
Castle Bruce, all of those areas.
Yes. But I was born and bred in Roseau, and my dad was a sailor, sailing with geese, taking Rhode Island bananas to England. My mom was always a homemaker, just at home. And my parents eventually acquired some land and built our home in Canefield. So we moved to Canefield when I was 12 years old.
Is that the home I visited?
Yes.
Ah, nice.
Yes.
Lovely.
When I was 12 years old, we moved to Canefield, and there I have been growing up for most of my life. A lot of friends, look, I'm taking a peek on the In the Spotlight Facebook page as we do, and one of my main buddies I'm seeing here online is Merlin Sentinel Louisa. That's my buddy. Other guys like Jeff Challenger, Fitz Burnaby, Rupert Burnaby Jr. when he was in Dominica, and so on. And we grew up there. I went to grammar school.
Let me ask though. I'm not sure if you experienced the country growing up at all, but what do you think differentiates growing up in the city as opposed to growing up, in the rural areas?
I didn't have too much of the country, but my dad's family was from Grand Bay, so I did a little spurt of holiday in Grand Bay, and I have an older brother. And his wife was from Collyho. In fact, I know you had Asa on recently, so Asa is actually my sister-in-law's nephew.
Oh.
Yeah, so I did a little, bit of holiday in Collyho. That's about it. But it's interesting that you asked that question, though, because my years at the Dominica Grammar School, there was still the end part of the hostel, where students came from the country and stayed at the hostel. And I say the end part because right after that, a lot of students were staying at families' homes in Roseau. And unfortunately, we never had any of these at my own home, but I knew the guys, and I felt them from that tender age. I had a good grasp on personalities, and I knew the struggles that some of them went through and all of that.
Some people have actually shared on the program.
Yeah. So I do know that good differentiation between growing up in the city and growing up in the country, although I never had that much direct experience in the country.
But even in the city, you know, sometimes those who come from the country areas would speak about going in the gardens and picking mango and you know, going in the river and doing. I know Roseau has a river.
Yes.
So did you experience some of that?
Oh, surely, yes. There were many bassins
Yes.
in Roseau. Listen, outside of what used to be Save-A-Lot on the riverbank there, right now, it's the promenade.
Yes,
it,
that's
right?
what it's called.
Right. In my days growing up, that river was so deep. There were stone walls and a series of steps going down to the river, as much as like 15 steps going down to the river. So we did a lot of river bathing, washing clothes in the river, titiri coming up in the river, and you know, people catching that. My mother, who was the homemaker, was pretty strict, and we didn't venture out too far. A bit of sea bathing, you know, right outside of the Roseau Market. In fact, I knew when the new Roseau Market was built. Before it was built, it was Coronation Hall, and that was demolished, and the market was built. And I learned to play football behind the market on all the gravels and all of that, bathing in the sea close by. All of these things were fun. Going to the gardens, botanical gardens, I learned of 35 steps and Jack's walks and so on. But in my very young days, one of the things that I clearly remember was merry-go-round. Merry-go-round.
No one has never spoken about merry-go-round.
Merry-go-round is where the PSU headquarters is currently. And it was a playground with swings and slides and carousels. And on a Sunday afternoon, there was this lady who was my mother's friend. She would come get us. We would stop by and get some homemade ice cream from some lady on the road, and then we would go to merry-go-round and have fun in merry-go-round. Wonderful playground that was.
So there was something for children to enjoy.
Oh yes.
Back then,
Yeah,
do you know whatever happened to it? It just.
Well, yeah, the slides were real heavy metal and all of that, and I guess corrosion over a period of time. And it's children; you don't want them to get hurt, so they had to be dismantled. Yeah, they had to be dismantled, and eventually. From what I heard, the government gave the PSU a 99-year lease on the land, and so they built their headquarters, and there they are. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So you were talking a bit about your days at the Dominica Grammar School.
Yes.
But before you continue there, I want to get a little bit more from Deirdre in terms of schooling. Let's talk about your primary school days.
Well, we went to the St. Martin's School. Well, everybody went to the St. Martin's School at the time. And one of the things I remember significantly, on our way down to school, we'd have to stop by Mabode and by Accra. Down by the Savannah, those Don't Freights. I don't know if you wouldn't remember that, but they were the Don't Freights. So every day we go to school, we had to stop there. Remember at that time, your parents, they don't know to give you whatever, so you have to stop and buy the Accra to put in the bread.
Okay.
So we would stop there by the Savannah and buy your Accra, put it in your bread, and into school. Then there was a lady around the area that used to sell that kind of a thing that was
the stretching.
Yes.
Loga.
No, not Loga.
Oh my goodness.
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable.
So you remember those things, those part of your school life, and so that's primary school. And then at school now, grammar school, I started at the community high school and I continued at the grammar school. And my last 2 years were spent at the grammar school.
Okay.
And I had fun at school.
You had fun at school.
I had fun at school.
All right. What about you? You jumped into grammar school, but you didn't tell us about the primary school stage.
Roseau Boys School.
Roseau Boys School.
In fact,
I like stories.
Yes, I know. Yes. That's okay. That's okay. I recall Roseau Mixed Infant School. It was, you see Karam's building on Cock Street, Upper Cock Street, the long building there. Well, there was Roseau Mixed Infant School directly opposite Karam, where there is an apartment there now. So I went to infant school there, and then moved over to the Roseau, girls' school. But there were boys in the lower grades of the Roseau girls' school. Yes, and where they're playing netball tonight, where they had courts out there now of Windsor Park, that's where Roseau girls' school was. Yes. And then I went over to Roseau Boys' School.
So wait a minute. So how is it that you had boys going to and I'm sure somebody maybe shared that story with me already on the program. But how is it that you had boys going to a girls' school?
The same happened with Convent High School. Someone may have told you that there were boys going to Convent High School as well.
Yes.
But for the most part, in the lower classes, when they got higher, it was just all girls.
So is it that it was co-ed then? So
yes.
boys and girls?
Yes, that's correct.
All right.
That's correct. Yes,
okay.
yes. But there was always Roseau Boys' School.
There was always Roseau Boys'
Right. And in fact, Roseau Boys' School, when I went to Roseau Girls' School, was adjacent.
It's strange hearing you say
I know, yes. It was adjacent to the Roseau Girls' School, and then subsequently Roseau Boys' School was moved to the location where All Saints is at the moment. So I went to school there. I don't recall all what happened, but for a while Roseau Boys' School occupied the Goodwill Junior High School in the afternoons. Maybe there was a fire or something, I can't quite recall, but I recall going to school at the Goodwill Junior High School, Pottersville, on afternoons, afternoon classes.
Similar to what was happening with Dominica Grammar School
currently,
and Goodwill Secondary.
Currently, yeah. That's what, right? Okay. Yeah. And eventually moved back to the All Saints location, and then sat my common entrance and went to the Dominica Grammar School.
Dominica Grammar School.
And there I met my good friend Simeon Joseph.
Let me tell you.
My buddy.
Let me tell you. Let me hear from Simeon. Let us hear from Simeon.
Gratuitous sentiments that I want to wish my very good friends, Hilarian and Deirdre, good evening. Hilarian and I, as well as Deirdre, well, specifically Hilarian, we go way back, having met each other in second form at the Dominica Grammar School, and journeying together until graduation. Exchanging positions, monitor, vice monitor, prefect, head boy, deputy head boy, and journeying together throughout our years at the Dominica Grammar Schools, becoming friends in prayer groups, in church, and a lifelong family friends. But on this occasion of Valentine's Day, it is most specific that I throw my mind back to Hilarian and Deirdre. It was in 1981, one afternoon that Hilarian and I were standing at the top floor of the Dominica Grammar School. He had just ended a relationship with a girlfriend he had for a few years, and Annette. And then we were speaking, and then he said, I have something to share with you. There's this girl I've been looking at from Newtown. She's always so well dressed, her uniform so well ironed. She's so quiet. And I just admire that girl, and I'm thinking of pursuing a relationship with her. Fast forward, we have remained friends to the extent that Hilarian and Deirdre got married on my mother's birthday, the 6th of January, and which makes it even more significant to me. I have been with them through thick and thin, and they too have been with me through thick and thin. Hilarian has been one of my spiritual counselors, a very good friend. There is nothing that happens in my life that I don't share with Hilarian first, to the extent that I have even become a godfather of one of their children. And so on this occasion tonight, I think there's no better couple to have on this program for the simple reason that they are a shining example of fidelity, of commitment, of care, of trust, of the upbringing of children, and they epitomize in every sense of the word what a couple should be. I'm happy to know that they have involved me in their life, in every aspect of their life throughout the years, and so have I. But most specifically, they as a married couple. And I'm happy to know that I've journeyed with them and shared with them aspects of their lives, and to know that I can say tonight without any reservation and with a strength of conviction that Hilarian and Deirdre Jules are a very fitting couple for this program tonight.
Simeon Joseph.
Yes.
And I brought him in here because I know he spoke about, you were just about to start talking about when you met this beautiful lady and where and how. And so I know he said a little something in there. So I thought, let me just play that now. Let him just set the foundation for you to complete your story as to how you met.
Yeah, what Simeon said is very...
Not sure what happened there. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, what Simeon said is very accurate. And it mushroomed into out of school, just about out of school graduation time. In fact, before I go there, let me just say a little something in grammar school there were a few of us guys, and we gave ourselves a name, the Magnanimous Boys.
Well, excuse you.
Yes, the Magnanimous Boys. There were guys like James Dominic.
That's oh my God,
yes,
James.
Maxime Vigilant, now Dr. Maxime Vigilant over in Texas. There were others like Jefferson Challenger, Roderick and Michael Dejean, folks like Simeon were on the fringes of it, Clint Roberts, Titus Billy Sandy, quite a few of us guys.
So that was a clique.
Yes, and we were the guys who were great in sports, Yeah, man, the football, the cricket, the athletics, everything like that. And so we were the guys the girls were looking at.
Of course. But interestingly, you were looking at a particular girl.
Well, yes.
You observed how she dressed, how she carried herself.
Definitely. And so, I told Simeon about her. But what made it interesting is we were about to leave school and graduation was coming up and planning a graduation ball. And a female mutual friend came to me one day and asked, do you have an escort for the graduation ball yet?
Lord of Jesus.
I said, no, not yet. She said, well, my friend needs an escort. I asked, who are you referring to? She said, Deirdre. I said, well, yeah, man, I'm gonna be an escort.
How did you ask her?
No, the friend went and said, Hela's gonna be your escort.
And that was it?
Yes.
We were good friends, and up to now, she became she was a bridesmaid at our,
the maid of honor.
At our wedding.
Her name is Emilia Blanc Prosper.
I see.
over in Houston.
Between Simeon and
Emilia.
So Simeon and Emilia put the icing on the cake.
Yes.
But it wasn't exactly Simeon, but you who whispered.
The eyes were there.
The interest was there.
She was so beautiful. She had lovely hair.
So where is it in the bedroom?
That's your style. Don't worry about that.
Oh my goodness! And so you took her to your graduation ball.
Yes.
At that time, Healy she calls you.
Yes.
At that time, in those days, did you pick up your dates? How did it work out? My parents brought me to my graduation ceremony. They drove me all the way to London.
We had to find our way because at that time we didn't have vehicles.
Not many vehicles. And if I recall, it was at
Up at
Cicero Hotel?
Yes, Cicero.
Cicero Hotel at
When
the time.
Cicero was Cicero.
Yeah, so I found somebody to give me a ride, got myself there, and I don't recall if she was there before me or after me, but we met and we had a grand time at that graduation
And she was
ball.
beautiful.
Yes, you know.
Oh my goodness, that sounds like.
And so we're out of school, and both of us started working in the public service.
Right.
And around that time, my 21st birthday was coming up, and house parties was the thing at the time. And my home, one of the things I can tell you though is, I think I missed some.
Okay.
Hurricane David came in 1979. We were still at school.
Trust me, we were attentive. We're paying attention.
Yes. We were still at school, and after the hurricane, nothing to do. Guys are there. Guys are having their hair cornrows and growing afro as a result of plaiting the hair and just hanging out and helping to distribute the ration and whatnot and so on. Eventually, my dad, the ship came to Dominica, and I said to my dad, is there somewhere that you can get me to go to school? Because Simeon and some others, he gave that story, they got to go to school in Guadeloupe, and I didn't get to go.
Okay.
I was still there. So my dad, the ship would often stop in Barbados, and he had some friends there, so he made arrangements, and so I went to school in Barbados. I spent the rest of the school year there in Barbados, and then I came back home.
Pause. So you and Deirdre were already in a relationship at that time?
No. So
not yet.
That's what I'm saying. No, I missed some before meeting Deirdre.
Before meeting
That's
Deirdre?
before meeting Deirdre. Yes,
No, but
yes.
remember you went to ball together.
Yeah, but
So after, what happened after ball?
right. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't go back. Maybe I shouldn't go back. But
I'm paying attention.
No. But I chose to go back because I was going to talk about the house party.
Right.
And it's because we had no parents at the house, you see. So that's why I chose to go back a little bit.
Okay.
Having gone to school in Barbados
Right.
In 1980, sometime after the hurricane. And I came back home, started fifth form in grammar school. Started fifth form in grammar school. And then over the Christmas and New Year's holiday, my mom died. So I was at school when my mom died. And my dad was a sailor out on the waters and all of that, you know. So myself and two other siblings, we were the ones there. I had my maternal grandmother and aunt. They stayed with us for a while, but not too long. So we were there, and the house was available, and my 21st birthday came around, and we hosted a smash of a party. And I had my girl there to cut the cake and help me celebrate my 21st birthday party. That was so nice. That was so great.
The entire works.
Yes.
Do you remember that very well, Deirdre?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. We still have photos at home of that.
Well, let me tell you about the photos. Listen. You go to their home and there's photos everywhere. Beautiful photos of their beautiful family. So we're talking some more. Okay, so people are talking about, I'm just peeping on the comments there, and they're talking about Chris and Anna are watching.
Yes.
Oh, I should let you know that Father later.
Yes, of course.
Is tuned in
Of
to
course,
the program
of
from
course.
St. Lucia.
He sent me a message on WhatsApp there. He said, one of the nicest couple ever.
Oh.
They have supported me as a teacher, molding their children, and as their pastor, impacting wisdom to a congregation.
Oh.
Yes, our beloved priest, Father.
Yes, I love Father Later. As I said, we
Yes.
share a birthday, and he's just an
Yes.
amazing guy to me. All right, so we're talking some more about the relationship and how it grew,
Yeah.
and how you went through, because that is part of what we're here for tonight. We want to know what worked, what didn't work for you, what you did right, what you learned from. So talk us through the building of this relationship that is now a marriage 32 years later.
All right, but there's still a little chapter that needs to be plugged
Let
in
us
before
plug
we
it
answer
in.
that.
Plug
right?
it in.
So we started working in the public service in the early 80s and in 1980.
Both of you.
Both of us, yes. And in 1986, I got a scholarship and I went to Jamaica to study. And when I was leaving to go to Jamaica, I said to Deirdre, I'd appreciate it if you would wait for me.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I went to Jamaica. It was a 3-year program. And after the first year, I was able to come home every summer. So after the first summer, I came home. And when I came home, we learned about the Engaged Encounter movement. And so Deirdre and I agreed to go to the Engaged Encounter weekend, even if we knew that the wedding wasn't close. Some people do the weekend when the wedding is like the 11th and a half hour, but our experience was we did it way before, and that helped us. So, but in Jamaica, I was involved with a prayer group out there, adult prayer group. And so when I returned to school for my second year in September of '87, I had a Jamaican mom, I call her, you know, a member of the prayer group. I told her that my girlfriend and I back home, we went to the Engaged Encounter weekend. So she said to me, well, since we know we're not going to get the wedding, why not give us the engagement? Invite her up to Jamaica. So Christmas of my second year, I invited Deirdre to Jamaica. She stayed at my Jamaican mom's home. And they planned a party for our engagement. We had a priest and all of that to bless our engagement. I was on scholarship. I had to save up a little money, and I got an engagement ring from my stipends and so on, you know.
God.
Yes, and that
you
was
loved her.
Yes.
You couldn't afford to lose her.
Not at all, not at all. And that was such a wonderful time, you know.
Just the fact that you made the effort, even from your stipend. You know, to save up to buy a ring.
Oh yes.
You know, it says, you know, that you really truly wanted this woman to be a part of your life and your future.
And you know, she returned home and started preparing for our life together. And after my studies, I came home June, July of 1989. Started putting plans in place, and we got married in January of 1990.
I want to go back a bit with Deirdre. So when this gentleman came to you and said that, you know, I am going off to Jamaica to study, it's going to be a 3-year program, but I would like for you to wait for me. What went through your mind, and was that an easy decision to make?
It wasn't an easy decision, but it was a good decision, because I'm somebody, I like stability, and at that time, it's not like now you have phones, you have cell phones that you can. At that time, there were no cell phones, so communication was letters, you know, constant letters. So I used to get some long letters, you know, so we really tried to maintain our relationship through letters, or if person's going up to Jamaica, you would send something, or you know, that kind of thing. And telephone calls, that was like once probably every so often, because, you know, it wasn't as whatever, but we did our best. We struggled to maintain the relationship, because the long distance relationship are not the best, but because we had a good foundation and we knew what we wanted, we stuck it through. Yes, and the fact that he was home every summer, it made a big difference.
How did you feel when he invited you up to Jamaica?
Oh, it was good. It was good, because
did you suspect what was going to happen?
Yes, we knew.
Okay.
Yes, we knew.
Okay.
And his Jamaican family and the group, the People of Praise group, trust me, these people were just so wonderful. They were so warm, you know, and as we said, they planned the engagement party. You'd swear it was a mini wedding, you know. And up to tonight, I was asking, but where is that priest? I mean, I wonder where he is right now, because we still have the photos, the lovely photos and everything. And I mean, they were so supportive. So I mean, when you get that foundation, and you know, and we know what prayer is the basis of everything. So we had that foundation. We had the support from very early.
And this is an early example of me not bringing you here this evening to say these two people are perfect. All right? And I just having a short time, you know, chatting with you all prior, I know that you are real and you keep things real and you're realistic. And so, to hear Deirdre say that it was a struggle.
Yes.
And that is expected, that it was a struggle.
Yeah.
Because as you indicated, it is not like today. People they can FaceTime, they can do all of that good, wonderful stuff.
Yep.
And it's almost like you're right there, except that you're physically distanced from each other.
Mm-hmm.
But in your time, it would have been a struggle,
Yes.
but you overcame that struggle.
Yeah.
And that is one of the first journeys.
Yep.
First part of your journey,
Yeah.
where you overcame, some struggle in an effort to maintain your love
Yep.
and to plan your future together. And so you got married in 1990.
Yeah.
1990.
January 1990.
Before we get to that, I didn't get to speak to you, Hilly, about your spiritual path. So we got it from Deirdre and when it started for her, but we didn't touch that. So if we can just do that, and then we're going to talk about it.
Sure. Like Deirdre, well, like I said, my dad was a sailor, so he wasn't home. My mom was a homemaker. She was not a church-going person, but she ensured that her children went to church. So yes, I had to go to church when we were in Roseau at the cathedral, and when we went to live at Canefield, there was no church or chapel in Canefield. It was at Massac, and so a few of us, we used to walk. I mentioned the names of a few of my friends from Canefield, and I just felt it's a duty, and now that I had company, we walked and went to church in Massac. And I clearly recall 2 weeks before, in fact, there was an adult prayer group meeting in Canefield at Holmes. And although my mom was not a church-going person, but she made our home available for the prayer meeting. And when the adults would come, she would say, "Children, go outside and play." My sister and my brother would leave and go by some neighbor, and I would just sit on the step. Not necessarily to eavesdrop, but just, I liked quiet and meditating. And so I was taking in subliminally what was happening inside, And 2 weeks before Hurricane David in 1979, Mrs. Burnaby, God bless her, she's still alive. There was a nurse, Nurse Douglas, and deceased Father Jolly. They called a few of us young people at the Burnaby's residence for a youth prayer meeting. And Mrs. Burnaby, having been one of the adult members who go around for the prayer meeting, knowing that I would be around, she said to me, "Hilary, I'm depending on you to open up and pray, I'm depending on you to open up and pray." And my first spontaneous prayer I offered there at that prayer meeting, I felt hot and cold at the same time. But that I did, and then yes, of course. Although I was among my peers, but it grew from there, and I availed myself of everything church. For then there's something about me, I say I like proverbial sayings and maxims. I love the book of Proverbs in the Bible. I love proverbial sayings from community, from society, and I even think I author some myself, And
what are some of your favorite
so
ones?
one of those I believe I may have authored is if you are not exposed to the things of God, then you are exposed to everything else.
Tell me, break it down for us. I mean, you can understand it, but
yes. So if you go to church, you have to go to church, and that is what I did. Went to the prayer meetings, novenas, retreats, everything like that, crusades and so on. And I built my spirituality, and at the time, my friends would be around, hanging out, smoking marijuana, doing this and that, being exposed to the other things, But for me, I immersed myself in the things of God. And that, has really helped my spirituality. And down the road, I can say that I have become, my friend Simeon say I'm one of his spiritual directors. I've become a leader in church and other things like that. I am a lay associate in pastoral care, we call it now, before lay minister in the Catholic Church. So in the absence of a priest, I do conduct services.
Really?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, and I've been a lay associate for the better part of almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years.
Yes.
20 years.
Yes.
Let us take this one here, and we'll come back to continue. Don't forget, we've not forgotten about the wedding part. But this is one of your friends that I would love to give you the opportunity. Your friends, actually. It's two voices in one, and I want you to just take some time and listen. You have some awesome friends, by the way.
Thank you.
It really is a pleasure and a privilege to share some words about this remarkable couple, Hilarian and Deirdre Jules. We got to know them as workers in God's vineyard. We got to know them better when we facilitated their marriage encounter weekend. We got to know them even better and more intimately when they committed themselves to journey with us as team facilitators on marriage encounter weekends.
Really, we journeyed with them in this ministry over many years, together with Randy and Rosie Felix. We journeyed on weekends, post-weekend outreach to couples, and in the leadership of marriage encounter movement. We have come to know them as real super lovers who are happy to share their life's journey with other couples so that they too can grow to enjoy their best life together in marriage.
Now, although Deirdre may appear to be a shy individual, but she never shirks from that which she considered as a call from God to show others how much God loves us in the sacrament of matrimony, which really is a reflection of God's love for us.
You know, Hilarian, on the other hand, took his role as shepherd. With much love and understanding, he nurtured Deirdre into maturity, ready like a rose from bud to full bloom. This labor of his love and in love he has really redounded to the benefit of themselves, their beautiful children, and all who have benefited from their sharing. Not only to married couples, but all of God's people who need their help.
I must say that the world is a better place with couples like Deirdre and Hilarian, who put their lives out in the open as a sacrifice of love. We can only just pray that the God of love will reward them with many more blessed and rewarding years of love.
And we just want to say to Deirdre and Hilarian, we love you.
We love you too, Alvin and sis. We love you.
Listen, it was so beautiful how the two of them put this together and shared it as a couple.
Indeed.
You know, and such beautiful things that they had to say about you. And I couldn't let this small phrase pass me by. Super lovers. It's Valentine's Day and we're talking about love. And there they are, you know, speaking to you about being super lovers. Tell me about your relationship with them and your involvement with them in the church in particular.
More specifically, marriage encounter. We refer to them now as our senior lovers. We call each other lovers in marriage encounter. And they basically guided us. They had to guide us into writing our talks. So they have been a real inspiration to us. So on weekends, when we would go on weekends and to conduct weekends and so on, they were part of our team. So we had 3 teams.
3 couples.
3 couples.
On the team,
right.
Along with a priest.
Yes. And they were our super team, if you want to put it that way. And they really helped to mold us and to shape us. And we shared a lot with each other. Because you see, even as team couples, we became friends. When we go on the weekend, I mean, it was really lovely. I mean, late nights, early mornings, you know, and we just working in the vineyard, you know, to help couples, to mold couples, to shape them. But then at the end of the day, we as team, you know, we were really good together. And we still remain good together. I saw them yesterday after church and it's like, you know.
So you expect them to tell you, oh, Fernanda asked me to say something?
No, not at all. We would not have expected that. No.
No, but...
Yeah. And but you know, we're in the same parish now,
Yes.
you know, and Alvin being a deacon, previously early associate like myself, so we would have weekly meetings of the lay associates, even if we're not scheduled to give a service, but we go and we share the word for the upcoming Sunday. So I am very regular, you know, in Alvin's presence, and even when we would go to their home, you know, and we share everything. We share everything. Times have changed a bit. COVID has put a chink in our armor.
Yes, yes.
You know, but it's been a pleasure journeying with Alvin and Francisca, and we really love them for that.
I don't know if using envy in a sentence can be in a good way, but I goodly envy this.
Well, you know what, Fernanda? There's always room, and we need companions on the journey. So come along, girl.
Before we got into all of the marriage encounter and all of that, we had to do the marriage. So let us talk about that wedding in 1990 when you came back, and Deirdre had already started the process and you joined in. How was the planning? Did you do it together? Was one person, you know, focused on how did it happen? Tell us so that we can learn, because some of us are, you know, interested in learning.
Yes. We funded our own wedding.
You funded your own wedding.
We did it together.
We did it together, and at the time I mentioned this prayer group in Jamaica. It was really a covenant community called People of Praise, and there was a Dominica chapter of People of Praise. Our good buddy Ron Abraham was the leader of that group as well, you know, and the members of People of Praise assisted us in
Dominica.
preparation for a lot of the stuff. So many things, you know, happened.
Yes,
But we got married at the cathedral. And our officiating priest was now
Father Warner.
deceased, Father Warner.
And so rest in peace.
Yes, you know.
And I remember he telling me, "You're a pretty bride."
Yes,
He was so
the
gentle.
wedding ceremony was
Oh yes, it
was brilliant, you know. And then we drove over to Old Mill Cultural Center where we had our reception. The master of ceremony at our reception was my good buddy John Rose.
Oh.
Yes. In fact, Johnson's wife, Vida, is like my sister. I mentioned Jefferson Challenger, her brother. Vida was a challenger as well. Yeah, so we were like family, and Johnson was the master of ceremony. And
What was the day like?
lovely.
We got married in the morning.
In the morning, yes.
9:30 in the morning. And the wedding was 9:30.
Any reason why you chose morning?
The morning, it was, we had to travel, I think the next day we traveled, but
Yes.
no, we just prefer the morning wedding, 9:30 in
Yeah.
the morning, and I wasn't late, I was early, by
Yes.
9:05, no, it was 9 o'clock.
You
Yes.
didn't keep your gentleman waiting.
No.
No power fight for
No.
him.
No.
She changed her mind. No cold sweat.
So we had a beautiful ceremony. At that time, didn't have videos and so like now, but you know, everything just remained etched in our minds up to now. You know, everything remained etched in our minds and so on. And we had some good friends along the way. Our same friend who was our maid of honor, Emilia.
Yes.
Then we have another very good friend. I'm not sure if she's listening, Glenda. Oh my God, Glenda is
Glenda
just...
Sever in St. Martin.
She's a nurse friend of ours in St. Martin, and she's our friend, you know, very, 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 very good friend as well. So all that was part. So imagine we got married, and the same night, she always keeps saying, but wait no. And when you ever hear somebody get married and they have their friends sleeping at their home with them,
Yes.
you know what?
So my family home became our home.
Right.
You know, became our home. And well, you know the place. It was both floors was like one. You know, so we had many bedrooms.
Okay.
And given that the wedding was in the morning, and the reception must have gone on, say, till about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So all of our friends who were there gathered, and they went to warehouse disco. We slept in our bed, but they went to warehouse disco and then came back. So that's what Glenda was referring to. You know, that everybody was just still in the same house.
And next day we traveled.
Yes.
You went on your honeymoon?
Yes, we did.
We traveled, but even then, the next day, so many persons passed home, you know, and then it was really.
We went to Mass the Sunday
Oh
morning.
yes, the next morning we went to Mass. It was wonderful. I remember our first point of contact when we went to Mass was Mr. and Mistress Lestrade.
Matthias and
Louis. I can never forget that. You know, when we went and we met them, we were going to church, and you know, they welcomed us. You know, I really felt, you know, we really felt their support. And up to a day like today, you know, we still feel that love and support from them.
Did you feel that you needed that, though, as young couples, you know, just got married, that you need some kind of, you know, guidance from others who had gone before you?
Oh, yes.
That's correct.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
I mean, even if we had done the Engage Encounter weekend and we learned the dynamics.
Did you do it again, by the way?
No.
Do it once?
Yeah, we did it once a few years before getting married.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, but we felt that we would have needed the guidance. Yes, we learned how to communicate and so on, but nothing is perfect. In fact, we've learned since then that there are 3 stages to a relationship. You know, you get into it, there's the romance stage where, you know, you give all the endearments and everything is lovely and whatnot. But then without wanting it, it happens that you can get into the second stage, just like disillusionment and disappointment when, you know, your expectations are not met. And so we didn't know that then, but somewhere in our spiritual sense, we wanted to guard against that. And so we surrounded ourselves with couple friends. Even before we started having the children, and when the children were very little, we made it a point of duty on a Sunday afternoon to go visiting my big brother and his wife in Bath Estate, other couples here and there. In fact, at one time, Alvin and Francisca lived in Trafalgar, and if I'm not mistaken, I think we would go all the way up there to visit with them, you know, and so on. Yeah, so we surrounded ourselves with couples, older couples, because we wanted that experience ourselves and to kind of guard and shield ourselves. And I think we're better for it.
You wanted that level of guidance.
Yes.
Take us through the journey since you got married.
Yeah.
What has it been like?
It's been wonderful.
Even 32 years later,
It's been wonderful.
you made the right choice.
We made the right choice. We have had to work at it. We made a decision to love each other every day, and we work at it every day. We made a decision to love, and that is what we are continuing to do. Every day, we make that decision to love each other.
To love is a decision.
We make that decision every day because we realize we have the power within us to either make it or break it. We do not want to break it. So we have to work at it every day. Up to now, we still have to work at it every day.
In terms of a young couple now considering getting married, based on your own experience, what would be the guidance? What should they guard against? What should they focus on? What should they block out, you know, in terms of getting to the stage of getting married and continuing along the marriage journey?
You know, but then communication is very, very, very key. And very often when we speak of communication, what comes to mind is the talk, the head thing, and whatnot. But no, we communicate to the point of feelings. We express our feelings to each other. We feel no shame. We take the risk to share our feelings. And if we don't do that, then we tend to like sweep it under the carpet. It is our feelings that we sweep under the carpet, not the thoughts and so on. And so we would encourage, you know, young couples, do that. Don't be afraid. It may be happy feelings, speak about it. Maybe sad, angry, or afraid. You know, talking about afraid, there are many young couples, I'm afraid to get married. Well, what are you afraid about? You know, describe that feeling to me. Describe that feeling to your partner so that he can understand you, he can listen, she can listen with the heart, not just with the head or the ears. You know, and that is so key. And the funny thing is that there are some misconceptions about feelings. You know, some people think that feelings are unimportant. No, that's wrong. Feelings are very, very, very important. Even when we go on and stuff happens, we react certain ways. We think that somebody is the reason for our feeling, the cause for our feeling, and that is wrong, you know. And when it comes to making up the whole, well, that's where my wife is strong. Yeah.
One of the things to like to advise younger couples or just couples in general planning to get married, always remember a wedding is a day, a marriage is a lifetime.
Yes.
Boy.
So all the glamour and the hundreds we see, well, COVID put a cinch on that, which probably is a good thing, but a wedding is a day. So that glamour is one day. But from next day, you are responsible. The marriage, you start to live out that marriage life sacrament, that is a lifetime. The next day, the dish is there for you to wash. You have to wash clothes, you have to cook the man food, if you want to put it that way. But then again, it's shared responsibility. You know, so you know they have to make up their mind, or when they get married, that you get married to the total person. It's a whole package. You know, next day you cannot, or for the next few weeks, you cannot say, okay,
I'm not accustomed to that.
I'm not accustomed to that. You know, I need to rest on my bed and my mother will put my foot for. No. No. And that is where it starts. Eh? Yeah. But then if you make up your mind from day one that this is what it is, this is what we sign up for, but it has to be done together.
So what I'm extracting from what you are sharing is that one of the main things is communication.
Communication is very important.
Very important.
Very, very important.
You need to be able to communicate with each other.
Into the point of feelings.
Into the point of feelings, yes. I need to put that note here. Feelings. And we should not be reluctant to hold things inside because it's just going to fester and cause problems. So I like that point about communication. Being able to communicate openly, you know, and to understand each other. You speak about shared responsibility, which is critical, I believe, because I'm one of those who do not subscribe to, because I am the woman, that I have to do all the cooking, or I have to do all the laundry, or all of the ironing. You know, that cannot be the case. The responsibilities, from what I'm picking up from you,
very
is that
true. Very
it
true.
has to be shared.
Shared responsibility.
Yeah.
And the other thing I picked up here is that you need to understand from you, Deirdre, that it is a package.
It's a package. An entire package, you know.
Yes.
The glamour, the wedding is gone, you know. By the next day when you get back, you realize, but wait, no. You know?
The pretty dress by the dry cleaners. You need to go in storage somewhere.
So you just start your life now. So you have to make that decision. Do I want it to work or do I not want it to work? And the both of you have to decide now, this is what you want and what you are signing up. Because marriage is sacred. You know, so it's not just for fun, it's sacred.
How did you adjust? Because I would presume that you didn't live together before.
No.
Right? So this is a whole new adjustment itself. So if Mr. Healer is a customer of taking, you know, you go in the shower, the towel, you just throw it on the bed and all of that, you would have had to start laying the rules almost from the beginning.
I tell you, Diana,
tell me.
In my younger days before getting married, I subscribed to Reader's Digest. And I clearly recall once reading a story in Reader's Digest entitled Bathroom Squabbles. And there were two examples given. How does one prefer to squeeze the tube of toothpaste? I prefer to squeeze it from down at the bottom, let everything be uniform.
Right.
Then you just take it and grab it close to the top and squeeze it. Right? Some prefer the roll of toilet paper roll forward.
Yes.
Some don't care if it rolls backwards. And that can cause squabbles in your relationship. Right?
Why don't let go your shoes anyway? Those things there.
So we look at those things, you know, but being a bit more serious, again, before getting into a relationship with Deirdre and getting married and all of that, I played a lot of sports, a lot of football, and there were times when, and And remember I said my mom died, my dad wasn't there, and I love quiet time. So I would come from work, if it's not football, and I would just go to my bedroom and chill out, listen to the radio, listen to Radio Antilles News and Radio Dominica News. Then I would read scripture. I built me, I built myself. And in the early days of our marriage, I would have reverted to that behavior, you know, of mine. We get home from work and I go to my room and
that thing is our room.
Yes, our room, you know, yes. You know, and then you would have to call me and say, you know, I need some company. And I'll tell you, the personality that I painstakingly built and I loved, and my friends loved, and other people loved, I had to shed some of it for the benefit of my relationship.
Of course.
You know? So those are the adjustments that we had to make.
But you had to make the adjustments. That's the point. And you had to you had to understand each other. And the word I know that comes in very, very well, that fits into all of this, is compromise.
Yes.
A little give and take.
Right, a little give and take. Yes.
You know?
Yeah, we have to do that. We have to do that.
So probably, you know, Deirdre might have to say, okay, you normally go to your room for 2 hours. Let's do 1 hour with me, 1 hour in doing your news and whatever, and that kind of thing. So a little bit of compromise, a little bit of give and take there. How do you deal with arguments? Do you believe we've heard about never go to bed angry? Is that something you subscribe to? Talk to us about that.
Yes. Because you go to bed earlier.
Yes, guide us, you know, as to probably you didn't get it right the first time or earlier on, but probably you got it right at some point. So probably guide us from the pitfalls and probably, you know, give us a sense of how it should be handled.
I mean, the whole awareness of reconciliation, we've not always known that, but we've grown into it, that one of the greatest gifts that couples can give to each other is that of healing. Is that of healing, you know? And when one of the first steps in healing is forgiveness. Forgiveness. So along the line, what we've learned is, I have wronged Deirdre. It's not enough for me to just say to Deirdre, I am sorry.
Right.
You know? If I am truly sorry, if I am contrite, I will say to her, Deirdre, I'm sorry. But I'd give her the power. And I'll say to her, will you please forgive me? I'm asking for her forgiveness. And that's one of the first steps in the healing process. Relationships need constant healing, and forgiveness is part of it. And so yes, we didn't always get it right. There may have been times when, you know, we slip out and sleep in on an argument, but thank God we've always been able to come around and resolve the matter amicably through our discussion. And I don't really want to get into it now, but in the marriage encounter movement, there's a particular word that we use, you know, for all of that, to try to get rid of our problems, and it's really powerful. It's really powerful, and that's why we encourage, you know, couples to participate, to do a weekend for the benefit of your relationship, because we've learned along the way, and we thank God for that.
We want to talk about family in a while, but since we're already on Marriage Encounter, let us talk about what Marriage Encounter is, how you got involved in it, and what does it involve?
Okay, we did.
I love how he just turns to you, you know, in this subtle way and says, okay, Deirdre, you go ahead, without saying a word.
Okay, we did our Marriage Encounter weekend. Okay, as we know, the Marriage Encounter movement is Catholic Church oriented.
And it's worldwide.
And it's worldwide. So we did our weekend in 2008, I think. Was it? Anyway, we did it a long time. It's a while now. But then there's always the opportunity when you do those things, they ask you to come back and serve. So, not everybody comes back. But then there was a weekend once, and then persons were asked, to indicate in what area they would like to serve. So we decided we would like to serve as team couples. He decided we would serve as team couples.
All right.
So I didn't have a choice because trust me, it is something that is so deep, it is so rich. And so that's how we got involved in it. And you didn't explain that one, no? You hold my hand and come to move my hand.
Yeah, so it's a weekend for married couples, at least 2 years married. A weekend meant to enrich your relationship. Our lover coordinators, Rani and Rosie, like to refer to it as a top up for your relationship, and we really, really mean it. There, just like feelings I mentioned a while ago, that there are some misconceptions about feelings. Quite a few persons have misconceptions as to what marriage encounter is about. They think that you have to go and spill out your guts and tell people your business. Well, no, it is not that. Truthfully, it is a relationship between the two of you. We are presenters. There are 3 team couples and a priest doing the presentations, and then we ask you and your spouse to sit and work through a series of questions. And when you hear our examples, I can say couples are truly impacted. We would normally hold the marriage encounter at the Holy Redeemer Retreat House in Eggleston, but that's no more. And we've struggled since Hurricane Maria, but 2 weekends ago, we hosted our true first virtual weekend. There are 3 of us team couples there. I keep on mentioning Rani and Rosie here tonight, but I must mention our dear friends, our rookie couple, Kermit and Dekisa Robinson, who did that weekend along with us. And our team priest is normally Monsignor John Lewis.
John Lewis, yes.
Yes, and we refer to him as our spouse.
Your spouse?
Yes. He is all of us spouse, right? But he was not able to be on that weekend, and to show the true worldwide nature of marriage encounter, the priest who participated on the weekend with us was doing so from San Antonio, Texas.
Wonderful.
Yes. We had 12 participating couples on that weekend just gone. One couple was participating from their home in Jamaica. Yeah. So that's really worldwide. So our friends out there in the diaspora and in the Caribbean, you're hearing, yes, Marriage Encounter Dominica is on fire, and we're ready to spread the joy. We're ready for you to be companions on the journey with us. It's really wonderful, and we're getting feedback. Just today, I had a call from one of the husbands who participated in the weekend, and he's just so complimentary, and he told me that he's already spreading it. He's hoping to get a commitment from his boss to participate in the weekend and so on. Yes, so it's just about love. It's all about love and
living our best life in love.
Living our best.
Yes. Why do you think it's important to do this?
Because you see, somewhere along the road, along the way, relationship gets, dry. They get dry, and it is a fact. A lot of couples will tell you, they just feel dry. They just don't feel that sense of commitment. They don't feel, it's like they just feel they're going for a routine, but really and truly, when we do that weekend, or when they do that weekend, you can see this spark, you can see a rejuvenation in the relationship. So that is really what the weekend does for them. It's really, even us as team couples, when we do it as well, it rejuvenates us as well. But even for the couples, it's just so good to see how they sparkle, man. Because it's all about them in the relationship.
Yeah, so just to help us, we just have to pull up, what it is and so on.
Yes. It's a private weekend.
Yes.
During which they focus on each other and they share with each other.
A weekend during which the presenting couples share relationship tools and skills.
They are able to improve on their relationship, on their communication, down to the level of feelings.
A weekend to attend exclusively to your relationship.
A weekend to restore the spark and the glow in their marriage.
a weekend for couples who want more for their marriage, and so on and so on. What it is not
a weekend to share your business with the presenters and other couples.
It's not a workshop, a retreat, a conference, or a prayer meeting.
Not a weekend to confess their sins to one another.
It's not a weekend for counseling of couples.
Not a weekend during which they spend all their time in front of their computer listening.
Okay.
You know, so they have to be really participatory.
We discuss with each other. Yeah.
Based on our sharings that we give. It takes us real deep. As presenters, trust me, but I know it takes us real deep into ourselves because we have spent time working on our presentations and so on. And it takes a lot.
You've perfected it.
It's not a matter of perfect. No, you can never perfect it. No, because it's like, it's just so deep. You know, sometimes you say, well, Jay, that one come out right. You know, you say sometimes, what you don't want, it just comes right in your, inside for your boy, man, and you have to bring that out. Because it's real, our real.
And that's
life
we presenting,
stuff.
we presenting, not the participants telling us that.
No, we presenting, because we have to give them the truth. We have to tell them what we went through and so on, so at least it can help them.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's a good
really
weekend, and we would encourage couples to really do it, because marriage is a lifetime, you know, and we need to we are married already. We have to live our best life in love. To be happy with each other. We have to be friends with each other, you know?
Yeah.
Talking about marriage, so two things for me. Talking about marriage, yesterday was World Marriage Day 1.
Yes.
And I also want to find out from you, so outside of the marriage encounter, because you said it's about 2 years after, you get married. What happens along the way though? Let's say you're 4 years, 5 years into marriage. Do you also provide like counseling to couples and so?
Not officially.
Not officially.
But because of, I guess, our years of experience and
people come to you.
Working in the vineyard, yes, people contact us directly and so on. One of the innovative things that Father Elton Layton, who was our parish priest recently, would have done, a couple preparing for marriage, he would invite some couples. So I know that he's used Deirdre and I quite a lot to speak with the couple planning to get married. So in fact, I have just seen some comments there from our good friends Gina and Kenny Thomas, who married within the last 2 years. And in fact, they participated in our last marriage encounter weekend. Yes, you know, so we speak with them, we prep them in advance, and that helps. But in the event that couples are going through difficulties and so on, yes, there are 1 or 2 of them who come to us, contact us. It may be one spouse contacting, but we eventually get both of them on, you know, and we try to work it out with them. And very often what we find is mixed signals in communication. That's what the issue is. Yes, yes, you know. Finances is a big issue for some couples. You know, do you budget? Do you not budget? How do you spend? Is it ours together, or is it yours and mine? You know, that sort of thing.
Do you put some together?
Yeah,
you know,
you know. What do you invest? You know, are you okay with insurances? That sort of thing, you know. So we try our best. Again, we're not perfect.
No.
But
no. And we've seen that tonight. You've said it, you know, what you struggled with, some of what you've struggled with, but you've made it work.
Yeah.
And you know, for those who are listening, so how do you make it work? And when we spoke, you know, just a couple of days ago, you indicated that, for example, on a Valentine's Day, you may not necessarily buy each other gifts because maybe there are other priorities. So let us talk about how we continue to make it work, and why I shouldn't take it personal if my spouse probably does not buy me a gift on Valentine's Day. Let's go there.
Okay. Today's Valentine's Day, but then, you know, sometimes you have birthdays and so on. So sometimes I'll tell you that, you know what, birthdays and whatever, according to what, we don't need to get into any expensive gifts and whatever. We have our children, we have our children to feed, we have fees to pay, we have school fees to pay. So I mean, at the end of the day, is what is a priority right now, you know? Sometimes instead of going out and eat, we cook our meal. I mean, we are very good on that, and I mean, the stove is lit, you know. And you also make sure you always have food at our home, so it doesn't take anything to do something to cook out, to have a cook-up. So we feel no way when it comes to those days, birthdays, and even on anniversaries. We really decide, you know, that we don't need to do anything, no. And especially when the children were much smaller. You know, we are happy with who we are, and we are happy with what we do, and so on. Although now, with our children getting a little bigger, they have begun to gift us. And we are very appreciative of that, you know, so.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna do this voice note, and then when we come back, we're going to talk again. We're going to talk we're going to talk a bit about family and the manner in which you brought up your children, and what you can share in terms of some advice and guidance. Yeah, let's take this one.
I was trying to recall how long I've known Hilarian and Deirdre Jules. I mean, I've known these two people long before moving into Warner and becoming part of the St. Anne's Parish. As a matter of fact, I recall as a young police officer, Deirdre worked in the traffic department at that time. The people who cashed unlicensed fees were based at the traffic department before it was absorbed by the Inland Revenue Division. And I think that's where I first came into contact with Deirdre. She wasn't Jules at the time, I really can't remember her surname now. And I clearly recall, just this very respectful young lady, friendly, and I recall at the time Hilarian was studying overseas. I think it was Cuba or Somalia. Can't be very sure, but you just knew of the two of them so much in love. One overseas studying, and she's here. And it was interesting. Their love story led to, I suppose you refer to that as what they refer to as the long distance relationship. Seemed to have worked really very well for them. And when he returned from his studies, they got married. And then, so I knew her and knew of him because they both worked in the public service. And I recall all those years ago. So probably that was, when they had just met and so on. So I knew of them since that time. And then I moved to reside at Warner, and I'm very much involved in church and church ministry. And so I came into much more personal contact with Deirdre and Hilarian. And I mean, they are role models for what married life looks like and what family life looks like in the church and in our parish. I think they're involved in almost everything there is in the parish in terms of the church ministry. Hilarian serves on the parish council, and is like the chief cook and bottle washer. He's involved in every aspect of parish life. And you can see, I mean, you see them and you see the interaction between the two of them. They could not be putting this on for all those years. They could not. These are two people that genuinely care for each other and intend to live out their married vows to the end. You can just see it. You see the way they interact with each other. I'm not saying they probably on a personal level do not have their issues, but I am telling you, you do not see friction, you do not see anything other than cohesion, cohesiveness, and two people that genuinely care for each other and intend to, be part of this union. I don't like the idea of till death do us part in marriage vows, because you just never know what connotations people put to this. But I'm telling you, I can vouch for Deirdre and Hilarian that this is the true example of selfless love. Two people that intend to be there for and with each other until towards eternity. I mean, very helpful, very friendly, very much involved. They are not talking about just doing things, but they are getting their hands dirty, involved in stuff. Sometimes I wonder if they are not overwhelmed by the tremendous effort it takes to be the same people being called on to do certain things all the time, but they are there. And of course, the people who are involved in movements like the Engage and Marriage Encounter will tell you about Hilarian and Julian, and Hilarian and Deirdre at another level. But I want to congratulate them, for showing that what God intended really does work. That there can be one man for one woman, and that they can live in harmony, respecting each other, and just being there for each other, and raising their children in the real biblical and spiritual and truthful sense of the word. So congratulations. I think they'll make wonderful guests. It will be interesting to hear again how the story started, but I certainly recall Deirdre working at High Street and Hilarian being overseas studying. I certainly remember that. So I've known them all those years. All the best. I hope, end it if you have to. And that whatever I contributed there can add value to whatever they will share with you this evening. God bless.
Thank you.
I may have forgotten to add how much I admire them. I admire their union. I need to add that. And I pray that God continues to guide, bless, and strengthen this union. Okay, take care. God bless.
Thank you.
I wish to salute Hilarian, who is more affectionately known as Hilly. My big brother, as I normally call him, and his dear wife Deirdre, for being such a shining example of a married couple, and for their role in promoting good family life within the parish of St. Anne and St. Paul, which comprises the communities of Campbell, Kinfield, Mahu, Massac, and Wana. Healy and Deirdre exemplify what being a couple should be. You always find them doing things together. You don't see one here and the other over there. They support and complement each other in carrying out whatever task they may be undertaking. Even in their dressing, their outfits are often well coordinated. And generally, I believe they give vivid expression to the concept of two becoming one in marriage. As coordinators for the Marriage and Engage Encounter movement within the parish of St. Anne and St. Paul, Hilly and Deirdre headed the committee which planned and implemented yet another successful observance of World Marriage Day this past weekend at the St. Martin de Porres Church in Kinfield. As a member of that committee, I myself can testify to their passion and zeal for that cause, and for their desire in ensuring that everything was done to a certain standard. Among the recognition given to married couples on World Marriage Day is the honoring of an outstanding or exemplary couple. And I venture to say here that were it not for the fact that Hilly and Deirdre were themselves heading the committee, coordinating the activities for World Marriage Day, they themselves clearly fit the bill of being such an exemplary or outstanding couple. That is why I am extremely happy that they are being featured this evening on In the Spotlight as a tribute to their vocation as a married couple on no less a day as Valentine's Day. So I just want to take the opportunity to congratulate them for being chosen as a guest on the program, to thank them for their exemplary service to church and community, and to wish them both a happy Valentine's Day and God's continued blessings.
Thank you very much, Brother Clay.
Tonight, you chose a perfect pair, a perfect husband and wife, perfect friends to dialogue with on this evening's special program on the areas of life, love, family, and how to live our best life in love. Hilarian and Deirdre Jules are a living example of true love, family life, and godliness. I know the couple very well as colleagues in the public service and as members of the St. Paul's Church community. They are both devout Catholics and very good stewards of the community and Catholic Church, particularly the St. Martin de Porres Roman Catholic Chapel of Kingfield. They are also a great example and support to other married couples and help shape the minds of our younger generation. This couple is inseparable. Yes, where you see one bride, you see the other. I sometimes refer to them as two peas in a pod whose outfits always complement each other's. They are truly enjoying life together, maintaining God in the equation. This exemplary couple are well known, highly respected, loved and admired throughout the parish of St. Paul and Dominica by extension.
Okay, so I want to say something before I give you an opportunity. I want to let Rani and Rosie and the rest know that I was given the information too, but I said, my goodness, if I have to get voice notes from everybody, then we wouldn't have much time on the show. But I really want them to know that I was given an extensive list, and I made some initial contacts, and I said, oh my God, I really can't do many more, but I want them to know, and some of the others, that they were also very much considered for sharing on your behalf here this evening. That was the final of the voice notes, just so you know. But it's something I introduced this year to the program, and I think sitting there, it feels good to hear your peers and others speak so highly about your relationship. You didn't give me the matchy tonight.
No, sorry.
but I'll take that. We're already a bit over time, and the young gentleman out there, I suspect, has to make his way home. But we must talk a bit about family. And family is important to you. I'm very much aware of that. What was it like, bringing up a family, 2 boys and the daughter? And what were some of the challenges? And what is some of the advice that you can give in terms of, it may not be the perfect way, but in terms of how you brought up your children and what you taught them?
Yeah, okay. So I just know that I was called to be married. I don't want to go too much into detail of it, but I actually did a discernment program, and I discerned my calling to be married. And from the time I was young, I know that I love the children, I love babies. And so when my wife, was pregnant with the babies, I would go to every doctor visit with her. I was there to see the birth of each of our children, and I nursed the babies along with her. At nights when she needed the rest and the baby would get up, I would get up and pace the passage in the house to take care of the children. It was just a pleasure seeing them growing up when they were in preschool age, not all at the same time. We got involved, they all went to the St. Anne's Day nursery, the creche, and we got involved in parenting programs, and that helped us a lot for ourselves and for other parents, and that went on through their primary school years. They all went to the convent prep, thanks to all of the teachers there, and the boys went to SMA, though we went to DGS, and Simeon was principal at DGS at the time when Simeon entered secondary school, but the boys went to SMA and the girl went to Convent High. And the children were brilliant. They were really doing excellently at school, and there were a couple times, even at the state college level, when we were asked to come and do some presentations, what it is that you do for the education of your children. And when that question was asked, we know that it was pointing to the academics. But Deirdre and I spoke about it, we sat down, we planned, we discussed, and truthfully our presentation was the academics is not first in the education of our children. Teaching them morals and self-esteem was number one. Number one, we taught them morals, we taught them self-esteem, stand for yourself. Their spirituality came number two. Now we know that some people would have asked us, why spirituality not first? Don't want to have to say that like that, but some spiritual persons can leave much to be desired. And then when you also look at young children, 2-3-year-olds, they're not so much into the spirituality and the Bible and all that yet, but you can see if they don't have good morals from that age. So we felt that, you know, morals and self-esteem number one, spirituality number two, and then we immerse them in a lot of education. Books, jigsaw puzzles, and attending PTA meetings, attending the school sporting events, just being there. We were the primary educators of our children. The learning institutions were partners with us in the education of our children.
I love that.
We also,
anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, we also taught them to be independent. You know, so...
And leaders.
And leaders, right. So we come home on evenings, they have their homework to do. There was no way I was going to sit down by you until you finish doing your homework. You come from school, you have their homework to do. What we would do, we would review their homework with them, right? And on weekends, everybody had to bring their books, their bags, and we going over their work, you know, to make sure, so at least prepare them for the week. And we taught them to do household chores.
Important.
So on a Saturday, everybody, when you, nobody is sitting in that house, not them. On a Saturday, they know the house have to clean, and all of us have to clean the house together. So they have their part to clean.
So who cleans the bathroom? Who sweeps the yard? Who
we taught them to do all that.
That is
right?
important.
Yeah. And then we taught them to cook.
You taught them to cook?
Oh yes. So they know how to cook, they can handle themselves.
Oh yes.
On this stuff. So we did a lot of things with them. We did for them as well, but we did a lot of things with them. We taught them how to do things.
And you also incorporated the fun.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Because even if they were brilliant academically and so on, I always say to people, they were not just nerds. Sydney, the first one in particular, played football, made the island team and went to Trinidad to play under 15 football and under 17 football. Gracian was a top basketball and football and track and field. April didn't get into sports, but a lot of other extracurricular activities. So it's not just the books, well-rounded.
Hilarian and Deirdre, we have to get ready to wrap things up here, but what I want to give you the opportunity before we wrap up is anything of significance that probably we didn't touch on. I'll give you the opportunity now to mention and to speak to before you give your final comments.
What we can say, we enjoyed being here tonight, and don't look at us as a perfect couple. We strive and we try our best. We made a decision, a serious decision to love every day. Is not this week or next week or if I feel like, if I don't feel like. We made a decision to love, and that is what we do on a daily basis. And we communicate very well. And we are best friends.
Yes.
That's important.
Yes.
Yes. And we just want to advise couples, no matter your age of marriage or your courtship years, there are few things that you can practice. We've elaborated on communication so much for the night. That is really, really key. Other tools that we believe are very helpful to couples: couple prayer. Praying together. Yes,
The children speak about you doing it in the vehicle while you're driving.
Yes. And then don't be afraid to reevaluate your life, the things that you're involved in, what the energies that you put out, the things that you invest in, the time you spend. Don't be afraid to reevaluate that and surround yourself with like-minded people.
I'm getting a message here. There is a couple right now who have decided to give their marriage another try just by listening to this program today.
Amen.
The husband is in tears and asking his wife for forgiveness. Yes, this is what is coming here.
Thank God. Thank God.
You know, if there was anything that we could do tonight by bringing you here, if we could get this one.
Yes.
Couple
That's what we said.
to
Yes.
make it work.
Yes.
That's what we said.
We will be
Yes.
achieving something
Yes.
here tonight.
Yes. Because we believe God calls us to be open and apostolic in sharing our love as a couple. You know, do things together.
Yeah.
And then we are open to sharing with couples as well, you know.
Yes.
So feel free if anybody wants to talk to us. You know, we do that. You know, we talk to them. COVID, what we do, we have done it once or twice. We meet in an open space where, you know, at home, and we wear our mask.
Yes.
And we stay far from each other, and you know, we talk and whatnot, because I mean, life amidst COVID, life continues. You know, so.
How do they contact you? They need to. Do you give out your number?
Our numbers are all over. You know, it's on the church bulletin.
Hey.
But I know our life is an open book. Our numbers are
open book.
Oh my goodness.
Our numbers are on the bulletin. Our numbers are 277-0547 or 275-3931.
All right, and in fact, when your number was initially shared with me, it's one number saved as two people. So that is how it came to me. Hilarian and Deirdre. So, guys, I really want to thank you immensely for being here this evening. And this last message that I just got, you know, speaks volumes of what you came here to do tonight, what you represented. You are not perfect, but you work hard at getting probably close to there as you possibly can. You are human. You have arguments. You will work to fix those arguments. You will do what needs to be done. But most importantly, you keep it together. You keep it together. And I want to thank you. Yes?
And I will end with one of my mantras.
Yes.
To God be the glory.
Great things He has done.
To God be the glory. Great things He has done. And
we will continue to do.
I mean, we did quite a bit of talking tonight. We didn't get to play any music for you and so on. But it's all right. You know, I think people really enjoyed the program for what it was tonight on this very special In the Spotlight Valentine's Day program. I want to again thank all my partners, all my friends, the organizations who came forward, Jungle Bay Resort and Spa. We want to thank the Great Old House, Lovely Things, the Red Lily Flower Shop, Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited, Deepex, and We Forward. We really want to thank all of you for your support here tonight. And I always say, you know, if you feel at some point you would like to contribute to the program, or you would like to contribute to something like this, just send me a note for that next time. Check me out there, link me. I am willing to support, and I am more than happy to do so. You can do so via 275-7565. We have to wrap things up now, and I just want to thank everyone for tuning into the program, whether via the airwaves or via social media. It was an absolute pleasure. I'm seeing love hearts coming up all the way there. Keep them coming. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Hilarian and Deirdre. It was an absolute pleasure having you here this evening, and I think that, you know, you really left a mark and made an impression here on this program. We will be back next week Monday for another In the Spotlight radio show. I promised you it was a calypsonian, and you will love it. So we will be back here next week Monday, God willing. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all the partners, and you know, just have a good night. And everyone, you know, enjoy what's left of the Valentine's Day. It could be with your family, it could be with your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your spouse. Mine is at work, and I'm here. So, you know, we have to make up for that otherwise. Good night, everyone, and thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Into In the Spotlight. We would love to have
We live in our precarious.
Thank you. I'll
So
take it.
married and so engaged.
Oh, good. Yes, we shall say this prayer together. Okay, guys, let's end this week.